A single pot, one growing season. How much food does it actually produce? For most home gardeners with a balcony or a patio, the honest answer is embarrassing. A handful of cherry tomatoes, a few stunted peppers, some basil that bolted in July, 9 ounces of green beans before the plant gave up. That's a typical container summer across America and most of Europe. But 9 specific crops grown the right way in pots will give you 10, 20, sometimes 50 times more food than the average backyard container produces, and almost nobody is growing them. The frustrating part, none of these are exotic. Nothing here requires a greenhouse, a special seed source, or skills you don't already have. The difference is that most container gardeners have been picking plants for the wrong reasons. They pick what looks pretty in the seed catalog, what everyone else is growing, what the garden center had on sale in May. None of those filters tell you which plant actually returns pounds of food per square foot of patio floor space. And that's the only metric that matters in a container. Let me walk you through the 9 crops that actually pay you back, ranked by what they produce, not by how easy they are. Some are familiar. Some you may have written off. Every one of them outperforms the typical container vegetable by a wide margin when grown in the right size pot with the right method. Number 1 is sweet potato. Yes, sweet potato, in a pot. This crop quietly destroys every other container vegetable on yield. A single 15-gallon fabric grow bag, planted with 3 to 4 slips in late spring, produces somewhere between 10 and 15 pounds of tubers by the end of summer. Plus the leaves, which are edible all season and cook down like a tender, milder spinach. Few people in the US or UK have ever tried sweet potato greens, but they're a daily summer vegetable across West Africa, the Philippines, Vietnam, and most of the Caribbean. The vines sprawl. The roots stay buried. The plant loves heat and ignores drought once established. Use Ipomoea batatas, slips from a nursery, or root your own from a supermarket sweet potato by suspending it in water until the purple shoots emerge. Number 2 is potato. The same hidden harvest principle, but easier and earlier. A 10-gallon grow bag, planted with 2 or 3 seed potatoes in early spring, produces 5 to 10 pounds of tubers by midsummer. Yukon Gold, Red Pontiac, Kennebec, Charlotte. These all perform well in containers. The technique: plant the seed potatoes about 4 inches deep in the bottom third of the bag, with the bag rolled down. As the green stems grow, unroll the bag and add more soil, leaving only the top few inches of foliage exposed. The plant produces tubers along the buried stem. By the time the bag is full, you've built a vertical potato column underground. One important note: don't plant supermarket potatoes. They often carry late blight, ring rot, or scab, and they sit in your container soil for years afterwards. Spend the few dollars on certified seed potatoes from a proper supplier. Number 3 is cherry tomato. Generic advice tells you to grow tomatoes in pots, and most people fail at it. The reason is variety. A full-sized indeterminate beefsteak crammed into a 5-gallon pot will produce 4 sad fruits and stop. The varieties that actually thrive in containers are different. Sun Gold, Sweet Million, Black Cherry, Tumbling Tom, Tiny Tim, Patio Choice, Sweet and Neat, bred for compact root systems and continuous cherry-sized fruit production. Put one of these in a 10-gallon pot, stake it. Water it consistently. Pinch the suckers if it's indeterminate. A single plant grown this way produces 8 to 15 pounds of fruit across a full summer. 3 plants on a balcony rail give you cherry tomatoes from June through to first frost. Number 4 is pepper. And the part most people miss about peppers in pots is what gives them the edge: heat. Containers warm up faster than the surrounding ground. Earlier in spring, warmer through summer, holding their temperature better at night. Pepper roots love that. Capsicum species evolved in the warm valleys of South America, and a black or dark-colored 5-gallon container sitting on a sunny patio behaves more like a Bolivian valley floor than an open field in Yorkshire or Vermont. The varieties that produce most heavily in containers tend to be the smaller fruited types. Carmen for sweet red Italian peppers, Padron for blistered tapas style, Shishito for the Japanese-style grilling pepper, Jalapeno M. Mini Bell, Pretty Bell, lunchbox sweets. One healthy plant in a 5 to 7-gallon pot produces 3 to 8 pounds of fruit across the season. And if you overwinter the plant indoors, which works for any pepper, it comes back the following spring 6 weeks ahead of fresh seedlings and yields even more. Number 5 is where the math shifts toward leaf crops. Bush beans. Bush beans get overlooked because gardeners assume pole beans always win on yield. In open ground they do. In a container the math reverses. Pole beans want a 2-meter trellis and a deep root run. Most balconies can't give them either. Bush beans stay compact, 12 to 18 inches tall. Productive in a 3 to 5-gallon pot. Provider, contender, mascot, tender green, royal burgundy. These varieties give you a steady flush of pods over 3 to 4 weeks, and if you stagger plantings every 2 weeks, the supply runs from early summer to first frost. 2 to 4 pounds per pot per season, more if you stay on top of the harvest. The key is picking often. Every 2 days at peak, beans left on the vine signal the plant to stop flowering. Beans removed tell it to keep going. Number 6 is kale, and this one rewards patience differently than everything else on this list. Most container crops give you their harvest fast and then finish. Kale doesn't. Brassica oleracea in a 5-gallon pot will produce continuously for 6 to 8 months from a single planting, sometimes longer in mild climates. Lacinato, also called Cavolo Nero in Italy and dinosaur kale in the US, red Russian, dwarf blue curled, red boar. The dwarf and compact varieties hold up best in containers, but standard sizes work too, as long as the pot is at least 5 gallons. The harvest method matters more than the variety. Pick from the bottom up. Take the largest, lowest leaves first. Never touch the cluster of small leaves at the top of the plant. That central crown is what produces all future growth. Strip leaves every few days. The plant turns into a small leafy palm tree by midsummer. Bare stem at the bottom. Dense cluster at the top. 3 to 5 pounds of leaves per plant across a season. 2 pots of kale on a balcony will keep a household in greens from late spring deep into autumn and in zones 8 and 9 right through winter. Number 7 is lettuce. The one almost everyone grows wrong. Standard mistake. Sow lettuce. Wait 6 weeks. Cut the entire head. Bed empty. Start over. That single habit caps your container yield at 1 harvest when the plant was ready to give you 6. Loose leaf and butterhead varieties. Black Seed Simpson, Salad Bowl, Red Sails, Lolo Rosso, Butter Crunch, Tom Thumb regenerate from the central crown. Pinch the outer leaves 4 or 5 at a time. Leave the inner cluster untouched. The plant pushes new growth within 72 hours. 1 window box, planted with 6 lettuce plants and harvested this way, produces 2 to 3 pounds of leaves across 6 to 8 weeks before the plants finally bolt in heat. Then comes the second move, staggered sowing. Drop fresh seed into a small pot every 10 days. By the time one planting bolts, the next is mature and ready. The supply never breaks. A single window box on a kitchen sill, run this way from March through October, produces somewhere between 12 and 20 pounds of leaves across a year. Compared to supermarket organic spring mix at $4 to $6 for 5 ounces, that's a meaningful amount of money staying in your pocket. Number 8 is green onion, the crop that quietly proves how much value most gardeners are throwing in the bin. A bunch of green onions at the supermarket runs $1.50 to $2. Half of it wilts in your crisper before you use it. Meanwhile, the white root bases you slice off and discard. Those will regrow new green tops in a glass of water on the windowsill in under a week. Plant the rooted bases in a 6 to 8 inch container. The greens grow back. Cut them again. They regrow again. 1 small pot produces 10 to 15 rounds of harvest from a single batch of supermarket scraps. Let 2 or 3 plants flower at the end of summer, and the round seed heads at the top of each stalk drop hundreds of tiny black seeds. Catch them in a paper envelope. Sow them the following spring. You've replaced the entire green onion budget for a household, indefinitely, from one initial supermarket purchase. The varieties most worth growing if you start from seed are Evergreen Hardy White, Tokyo Long White, and Red Beard. All 3 handle container life beautifully and regrow reliably after cutting. Number 9 is radish, and radish makes this list for a different reason than every other crop on it. This isn't about long harvests, it's about speed and how speed compounds across a season. 25 to 30 days from seed to mature radish. French breakfast, cherry belle, Easter egg, sparkler, rover, white icicle. Sow them directly into any open container or any gap in a larger pot, between pepper plants while they're young, around the base of a tomato vine, along the edges of a window box. Within 4 weeks, you've pulled a full harvest. Sow another round the same day. Across a 6-month growing season, the same small pot or gap produces 4 to 6 complete radish crops, one after the other. That principle, never let soil sit empty, is what separates a balcony that produces real food from one that produces a sad handful of leaves and disappointment. And it's also the thread that ties all 9 of these crops together. Look back at the 9 crops: sweet potato, cherry tomato, pepper, bush beans, kale, lettuce, green onion, radish. Different families, different growing seasons, different parts of the plant we eat, but one thread runs through all of them, and it's the same thread that separates a container garden producing real food from one that produces a few decorative leaves. Every crop on this list either keeps producing from a single planting or grows fast enough to be replanted multiple times in the same pot across one season. That's the entire principle. Most of what people grow in containers, full-size tomatoes, cucumbers without trellis, slow brassicas, big squash, sweet corn, fail this test. They occupy the pot for the entire season, and then give you one mediocre harvest at the end. That's the trade most container gardeners are unknowingly making. Months of soil, watering, fertilizing, attention. One unimpressive payoff, then nothing. The 9 crops here flip that. A pot of cherry tomatoes produces continuously from June to October. A pot of kale produces continuously from May to November. A pot of green onion regrows 10 or 15 times. Radish in any gap gives you 4 to 6 full crops in the same patch of soil. Lettuce produces 6 rounds from one planting, and you sow new seed every 10 days on top of that. Sweet potato and potato hide their harvest underground while you forget about them, then deliver enormous tubers at the end. Pepper and bush beans throw fruit in pods continuously, as long as you harvest often. Stack 3 or 4 of these on a small balcony, and you stop calling it a container garden. You start calling it a food source. 2 practical notes before we finish. First, the soil. Container plants live or die by what they're growing in. Don't use garden soil in pots. It compacts, turns to concrete after a few weeks, and suffocates the roots. Use a quality potting mix, ideally one with compost or worm castings already mixed in, and a generous amount of perlite for drainage. Top up the soil with fresh compost between plantings. Container soil exhausts itself faster than ground soil because the volume is small and the roots are dense. Second, the watering. Container gardens fail more often from water mistakes than any other cause. The soil in a pot dries faster than ground soil, especially in summer, and it can drop from saturated to bone dry in a single hot afternoon. Check your pots every morning. Stick a finger an inch into the soil. If it's dry at the first knuckle, water deeply until water runs out the bottom drainage holes. If it's still damp, leave it alone. Most container plant deaths come from gardeners watering on a schedule instead of by observation. And one more thing worth saying plainly. The pot you choose matters as much as the crop. Sweet potato in a 5-gallon pot will give you 4 small tubers. Sweet potato in a 15-gallon grow bag will give you 10 to 15 pounds. The same plant, 3 times the container. 5 times the food. Buy the bigger pot. Save the smaller pots for the lettuce and the radish, which actually thrive in shallow ones. That's the system. 9 crops that pay you back. The right pot size for each. The right variety choices for container life. Continuous picking. Soil that breathes. Watering by observation, not by calendar. A balcony 2 meters wide and 1 meter deep, set up this way, can produce somewhere between 60 and 100 pounds of fresh food across a single growing season. Most people walk past balconies producing nothing every day. The difference between those balconies and yours, if you do this, is 1 Saturday morning of planning and a few weekends of setup. After that, the system runs. If something in this video shifted how you'll look at a corner of your patio or a railing on your balcony, if you're already thinking about which 2 or 3 crops you'd start with this spring, drop the word grow in the comments. I read them. It tells me you're going to use the space you have instead of waiting for more, and it helps the channel reach the next gardener who's been quietly assuming their balcony was too small to feed anyone. Hit the like button while you're there. Not for me. For the next person who's about to plant decorative flowers in the only growing space they have, and doesn't yet know that same pot could be feeding them.